The air buzzed with quiet excitement inside Gate 47 at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. Families shuffled with suitcases, professionals typed away on laptops, and the usual pre-boarding announcements echoed across the terminal. Among them was 11-year-old Jaden Brooks, a quiet black kid with wide eyes and a crisp white shirt tucked neatly into his jeans, holding a first-class boarding pass tighter than his lunchbox. He wasn't just flying, he was taking his first-ever plane ride. Alone. His mother, Sergeant Lisa Brooks, a decorated U.S. Army veteran, knelt beside him with pride and a touch of worry in her eyes. "Call me the moment you land, and don't talk to just anyone, okay?" she said, smoothing his shirt collar. Jaden nodded solemnly, excitement bubbling beneath his calm. "Before we continue, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notification bell to get notified for more, share to friends. Where are you watching from? Please tell us in the comments. We love seeing how far our story goes." Jaden was escorted down the jet bridge early, per airline policy for unaccompanied minors. His seat was 1A, a reward from his mom for finishing the school year with straight A's and helping care for his younger siblings while she served overseas. As he settled into the plush leather seat, his white shirt glowing under the overhead lights, he glanced around, wide-eyed at the cabin's luxury. Then she appeared. A white woman, possibly in her 50s, walked in with a sharp blazer and tight curls swept back into a bun. She paused, staring straight at him. She clutched her designer bag as if it might escape. She leaned toward a nearby flight attendant. "Excuse me," she whispered, loud enough for Jaden to hear. "I think that child is in the wrong seat. Maybe even the wrong cabin." The attendant smiled politely. "He's listed here in 1A, ma'am. He's flying alone under our unaccompanied minor service." The woman narrowed her eyes. "Are you sure? I mean, really sure? A kid like that in first class?" The attendant's smile strained. "Yes, ma'am." Not satisfied, the woman walked to her seat, 1C, and muttered under her breath, "This doesn't sit right with me." Then, to everyone's shock, she pulled out her phone. "Yes, I'd like to report a possible security risk on my flight," she told the 911 dispatcher. A young boy, maybe 10, no adult with him, sitting in first class. "I don't think he belongs here." Passengers began glancing up from their devices. Whispers spread like wildfire. Jaden sat frozen, hands gripping the armrests, staring at his shoes. The sparkle of first class had just dimmed. Minutes later, 2 airport police officers stepped onto the plane. The cabin quieted instantly. The officers approached Jaden, who looked up, his small white shirt contrasting sharply with the dark uniforms towering over him. But before either officer could speak, a voice broke the silence. "That child belongs here." The speaker was a tall black man in his 60s seated in 1B, right next to Jaden. He wore a navy blue suit, carried himself with undeniable authority, and had a U.S. Senate lapel pin on his blazer. "I'm Senator Reggie Wallace," he said firmly. "I witnessed this child board the plane properly, escorted by a gate agent. He's done nothing wrong." The officers paused. One cleared his throat. "We were just responding to a call, sir." "Then you'll also want to document this. A false report made because someone didn't like the look of a young black child in a white shirt and first class," Wallace added. "I hope your department takes profiling seriously." The woman tried to interject. "I didn't say anything about race. I just thought." "You thought wrong," Senator Wallace snapped. "And now the whole plane knows it." The flight attendant stepped in. "Ma'am, your behavior has disrupted boarding and made a false report. We've alerted the airline manager." Moments later, the manager arrived. She was composed, biracial, and had clearly dealt with issues like this before. "Ma'am, this is not the first time we've received complaints about your behavior. This time, you've crossed a line. You're being removed from the flight." The woman's jaw dropped. "You can't do that. I'm a platinum flyer." "Which doesn't give you the right to harass passengers. You'll be refunded, but you're not flying today." Cheers erupted from economy. Passengers clapped as the woman was escorted off the aircraft, fuming. Jaden sat silently, unsure how to process what had just happened. Senator Wallace leaned over and said gently, "You okay, young man?" Jaden nodded. "Yes, sir. I just wanted to go see my grandma." Wallace smiled. And you will. With your head held high. The flight continued without issue. Throughout the journey, passengers stopped by Jaden's seat to encourage him, offer snacks, or say how brave he'd been. One woman handed him a travel puzzle book. Another shared his own story of growing up the only black kid on a plane. But the real twist came after landing. The video captured by a passenger went viral. News outlets everywhere picked it up. White woman calls police on black boy in first class, instantly regrets it. The clip of Senator Wallace speaking up became a trending sound on TikTok. You'll also want to document this, turned into a national conversation starter. Later that week, Delta Airlines issued a formal apology to Jaden and his mother and offered them complimentary flights. Sergeant Brooks responded during an interview, "He was raised to believe no seat is off-limits when you've paid your way. And I'm proud of how he handled himself." The woman who made the call? She lost her elite status permanently. And after internal investigation, the airline revealed she had multiple past complaints for similar behavior. The manager who removed her was praised for professionalism and promoted to a national role in diversity training. Jaden. He got to meet the senator again during a Capitol visit, where he stood beside him as Wallace gave a speech about equity and youth empowerment. Moral lesson. Prejudice often wears a polite face, but silence lets it grow. One small act of courage, like speaking up in real time, can ripple out and change how people view each other. Every child, regardless of their background or the color of their skin, deserves to dream, to travel, to succeed, without being questioned for simply existing. Message to society. It's time we check our biases at the gate. Don't assume, don't stereotype. Instead, protect the innocent and use your voice when it matters. One moment can spark a movement. If this story moved you, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and drop a comment below telling us what you would have done if you were on that flight. Let's talk about it.